Did blueberries give me kidney stones? Let's talk about that. So blueberries, little bundles of joy, but are those fruits giving people kidney stones?
Yeah, and it's summertime, so people are really housing on some blueberries, right? Because they're ripe for the picking right now. Blueberries. So blueberries is one of those foods that everybody was eating a ton of before because Harvard said blueberries are low. Raspberries stay away from, they were higher.
And we're
Now,
talking about oxalate specifically.
yes, oxalate. Thank you, Jeff. I don't know what I would do without you. Oxalate. So it used to be that Harvard said they were on the lower side, so everyone, of course, ate blueberries. And Harvard used to say that raspberries were on the higher side, so everyone gave up raspberries. They didn't need to, but they did anyway, unless they were working with me. And then now, blueberries, Harvard restudied. And it says blueberries, half a cup is 18.5, 18 and a half milligrams of oxalate. So they've gone up. Now, a couple things. Remember, you get $100 of oxalate in a bank account. I just sent it to you. And you're getting a debit card because you can decide how you want to spend your oxalate money. I don't want you to go over budget. So you get $100 in there. So if you have half a cup of blueberries at 18.5, let's just round it up to 19. Hell, let's just round it up to 20. You still got $80 worth of oxalate left. Okay? So you got plenty of oxalate. First, well, Jill, what the heck? Why should I trust Harvard? They say blueberries are low. Now they're saying blueberries are high. Whenever anyone studies a food and then studies it even a week later, that food may have a different amount of oxalate depending upon the soil conditions, the sunlight, you name it. There is no, you'll never, people often say this, why ain't it on a food label, Jill? It will never be because there's too much discrepancies. Whether the researcher isn't as good as the other researcher was, whether it was the growing conditions of the plant, there's many different things that go into it. And you're not going to see people studying oxalate all the time. It's very expensive. So it's just something that we have to live with. And why do we go by Harvard? Because I've been using this list along with other academic people, doctors, and institutions use the Harvard list. And I can speak for myself, and I can also speak for Dr. Koh, who's been doing this for years. He's been using the Harvard list since the 80s. My patients lower their oxalate. I never have an oxalate reading that's higher than it should be. I never do, unless the patient has said, well, Jill, I kind of went off the rail that day. But, I know. Or I didn't get my calcium needs that day. So believe me when I tell you that oxalate is the least important part of this diet once you take away spinach, chia seeds, cashew products, almond products. Please listen to me when I say that. Everybody comes to me worried about oxalate. And that's why you'll see a lot of oxalate things on this channel, because that's what everyone is always wanting to know about. Quite frankly, I get sick of talking about it because I know it's the least important. How do you know, Jill? How do you know? Who are you? I know because I'm looking at urine collections every day. I've looked at thousands of urine collections in almost 30 years. Oxalate's never the issue once you take away those foods and get your calcium needs met. It's the salt and the sugar and not drinking enough water, salt especially. People can lower that for their first urine collection, and then 3 urine collections later, their salt is high again. Salt is the hardest. Getting enough fluid's hardest, but calcium's hard for me because you don't know how to get it. Once you know how to get it, easy breezy. Not overeating meat, easy breezy. But the salt is hard. All right, now hold on. Somebody went in my hoozy. Okay. Blueberries. I eat them on most days. Here's what I will tell patients to do. All the other berries are pretty low. I eat every single day. Winter, fall, spring, summer. Raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. Every single day. I have kidney stone formers in my family. I use the same oxalate bank account analogy that you do, and I do not have high oxalate. And I never go over my budget, not even near it. So you could say, well, I want to have blueberries every day, Jill, but they're now high. But look at your list. The Oxalate food list is at kidneystonediet.com. Blueberries are, let's, like I said, round up. It says 18 and a half, 20 milligrams for half a cup. So I have fourth of a cup of blueberries. So here's what I do. I have my Greek yogurt. I have it on most days because it's my calcium source and it's a good non-meat protein source for me. I use Fage. A lot of people call it phage, but it's Fage, non-fat, plain Greek yogurt. I'm not saying that to correct you. I'm telling you that in case you're like, what the hell is Fage? Phage, okay? So it's non-fat, plain Greek yogurt. I use non-fat because I have cholesterol issues, so I keep my fat low. And I always put all of those berries in my yogurt, probably about a fourth of a cup of each berry. So now I still have all these berries in small amounts, very low oxalate. So it's always going to be about portion, not perfection. So you can have blueberries. You just can't have 5 cups a day like you were doing when you thought raspberries were high in oxalate. So it's never about taking these foods away. It's about stop overeating them in really huge portions and always put them in something like a calcium-based product like what I'm doing with my yogurt. So even if I am having a little bit of blueberry, I'm pairing it with calcium, so I'm not worried about it. Also, it's delicious. I use frozen fruit because I live by myself a lot now since my son is at NYU. So I use frozen fruit so it doesn't go bad. It's picked at the ripest part, so I think it's better than fresh. And then I put that in my yogurt, and it makes it almost like a dessert for me. So it's really delicious. So blueberries, please have them. Don't eat 5 cups a day of them. Put them in with other berries in your oatmeal or yogurt or or in a smoothie. But if you're like, but Jill, I want more berries, use the other berries to compensate for the less blueberry portion. Does that make sense, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely does. It's all balance and portion, not perfection, like you always say. And that's just what it comes down to with all of this. And there's a lot of parts to the kidney stone diet. That's not just oxalate. That is the biggest question. But you can find everything about the kidney stone diet and how to prevent future stones. You said it's up to an 80%
reduction
decrease.
rate. Yes.
Yeah, reduction in risk just by following the kidney stone diet, which is just a set of simple steps to follow. It's not magic. It's just proven through science and decades of experience. Jill's been doing this for nearly 30 years, as she mentioned, which is uncommon, especially in the YouTube space.
Really is.
Like you find a lot of information, but there's sort of the thing, why should we trust you? Well, thousands of patients have trusted Jill, have trusted her mentor, Fred Coe at University of Chicago, for decades and decades and decades. So if you want to dive deep, you can find all the free care and premium care at kidneystonediet.com. It's right there on the homepage. And cheers to preventing future stones.
Absolutely. Everybody have a wonderful week.